Good evening. Welcome to our Zoom this evening. We are super excited. We have a special guest speaker tonight, and her name is Lena Misener, and she knows how to bring health and science together in just a very incredible way. And our dear friend Debbie Packard is going to go ahead and give you her bio. So, Debbie, are you there?
I am here, and it is a real blessing and privilege for me to get to introduce Lena tonight. I've known David and Lena now for 7 years, and they were just a very integral part to my introduction into this company. So I have a lot of appreciation for them. Lena, as I said, is married to David, and they live in Belton, Missouri. They have four grown children, and they live on the Beulah Arabian Ranch. They own and operate this amazing horse ranch where they use horses to assist in personal development training and children's camps where they can learn about God's creation. And it's just a beautiful setting and an amazing place to learn more about ourselves and about creation and about what we can become. So I have a lot of appreciation for both of them. Lena herself is a microbiologist, her master's in microbiology with an emphasis in molecular. Why did I just forget that word? Anyway, she's smart and molecular genetics. That's what I was trying to come up with. Um, she is an instructor. She teaches at the high school and at the collegiate level. And I've just learned from her so many things that I would not have been able to understand unless she put them in terms that I could. So we're just very honored and grateful to have Lena with us tonight. The time that she puts into these trainings is just invaluable for all of us. And so I know you're going to really enjoy hearing from her. Lena, I will turn it over to you.
You so much, Debbie. And I mean, this is probably about the fourth time I think you've heard this. So, I mean, that's good that you still feel like you're getting something out of it. That's good.
Absolutely.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so I'm gonna turn on this laser pointer, and I think that's working. Are you able to see that, Debbie, when I point with the laser? Okay, cool. All right, so we have been with LifeVantage since 2013. And we just kind of keep going, wow, 12 years sure went by fast, didn't it, David? Yeah. And we're just so amazed with this company. When we first started with this company, it had three products, had the Protandem Nerve 2. It had the dog product. That's what they were calling it then, the dog product, but it was Pet Tandem. And they had the facial cream. And the dog product was like the new thing when we came in, and it was a big deal because people have been slipping their dogs Protandim and getting great results. And so there was like all kinds of fun videos with that. So we've seen this company grow so much. And when I heard about this merger with Love Biome and having this P84 come alongside Protandim, I knew that this was going to be the powerhouse. I mean, this is going to make it's one of those things, just like when you tell people Protandim Nerf 2 is where you start. Now we're going to be telling them P84 and Nerf 2 together is where you start, because we're going to be looking at such a powerful system to get every cell in your body healthy, and to be able to, when you are dealing with chronic issues, this is where you start so that you can start applying the other treatments, everything else you want to do for that health to get back online. This is where you start. This is where we get our cutting edge. And so we had this new product that was launched earlier this month, and we have been getting lots of customers and people that are starting to get interested in being consultants with us, and we're just so excited. Really, a lot of people are already hearing about gut health, and I mean, people I'm talking to are saying, yes, I was just having my doctor tell me, now that I've dealt with my thyroid, getting the numbers that we need to deal with that health, or, I mean, just so many people, they're so ready for you to talk to them about their gut health. It is amazing. And so we don't have, the work's already been done for us, guys. We just need to be talking to them about this product, which is the equivalent of 9 or 10 other products out there in one product. Now, it does come in a system of 2, and what I've learned since I was last speaking with some people on Saturday about it is that the reason that they have the 1 and 2 separate is because there are some enzymes that if they were packaged together, it would decrease the shelf life of this product. And so in order to extend the shelf life of this product, they have these 2 separate, and you can have them together. They're really designed to be together in a drink, but I know my husband likes to have first one and then the other, 2 different drinks. I think once you're mixed together in your stomach, as long as you're not waiting too long, I think you're still getting it all together. So this is going to be amazing with Protandim Nerf 2 Synergizer. Of course, to recap with Protandim Nerf 2 Synergizer, this is our flagship product of our company. This is the product that we need to be starting with. This is the cornerstone. We need to be telling people that this is where you start. And then if they can add in this P84, it's going to be amazing. And but we need to also be telling them that they need to be taking this separate, like about an hour apart, either an hour before or hour later. I actually would like to start taking the PhytoPower like first thing in the morning, like it's coming, like it would come right after my GLP-1. And then I would have this with the GLP-1 fiber. That's kind of like my goal when I'm starting to think about how can I incorporate these things together. And then about an hour later, I would have my Protandim Nerf 2 with my breakfast, either an egg or some oatmeal or my yogurt or something like that, so that I'm getting some fat with it. And the reason for that is because Protandim has an ingredient, the turmeric, that is also in one of the PhytoPower products. And so we want to make sure that we're making sure that this Protandim formula stays at the exact concentration that Dr. McCord designed and patented, and we don't want to mess that up. So let's talk some more about these. So we have PhytoPower 1, which is about feeding and diversifying. It's all about our gut microbiome, and PhytoPower 2, which is about detoxing your gut and getting some balance going on within your gut, and it's awesome. So let's talk about this product. Okay, so here's our Protandim, and we were just talking about this. We need to make sure that we're starting with this with our customers, that they know that this is going to be working to decrease their oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days and by 70% in 120 days. That's in the second study on PubMed.gov if you need to look that up. But it really does reduce the oxidative stress. I've seen such a difference in my own life with contact eczema. The inflammation response, which was a contact dermatitis, really more with allergies than anything else. And, being on Protandim has helped me to get that under control. That's my personal story. So I will never be off of Protandim Nerf 2 because of that. Okay, so we are focusing then on the gut health, and the Protandim Nerf 2 does a lot actually for these cells, just like every other cell, to reduce the inflammation, to increase the enzymes that are present that are going to take down the oxidative stress that are there naturally. And because a lot of it is about, with nutrigenomics, it's about a food type presentation to the cells that is it's like a knock on the door to wake up the cell and cause it to start making the enzymes to take out all of the free radicals. And once the free radicals are gone, the inflammation goes down. And once the inflammation goes down, the immune system can operate the way it's supposed to. And so we get a cascade effect even with just Nerf 2. But when we're adding in all of these other things in our lives, there can be some other disruptions, even on Nerf 2, where we can have our diet affecting our gut health. And then that is going to be really affecting so many other areas of our life, where if we don't have, maybe we've cut out some of the diversity of our microbiome, and a lot of that can come from the diet. I was reading recently about how tap water because of all of the treatment that it gets, especially if it has a high chlorine or high fluoride level, that it can take and wipe out some of our gut microbiome if we're drinking them on a regular basis. So make sure you're drinking very pure water. But your gut health affects your immunity because all of your entire alimentary system, you are a big tube on the inside. And I was just describing this to some of my students that our gut, this gut, if we were to stretch it all out, it's got a high surface area, but if we were to stretch it all out, it would cover the area of a tennis court. And if we were to stretch this tube going from your mouth and down your esophagus and your stomach and your intestines and your colon all the way to your anus, if you stretched it all the way out, it would be the length of a school bus. So it's very long. And so that's all wrapped up very carefully inside of you. And you have tissues that are keeping all that in place, but there's like different regions within your gut. So you have a foregut, a midgut, and a hindgut in your small intestines. The same thing with your large intestine. There's this very, very delicate area here that's just transitioning from the small intestine to the large intestine. And then this it kind of, your food loops around your bolus that was your food, and it's just taking out water, and there's specific microbes that are in this part of your gut in the large intestine that are not in the small intestine. And so we need to have a real high diversity of microorganisms in order to have maximum immunity, because this is one of the first places that we are exposed to the world. It's like all of the world is being exposed in our gut. Another place is through your respiratory system, and you have other microbes that are there that are helping you to be able to transmit messages to your immune system. But within our gut, it's a lot of what we're eating, a lot of what we're just experiencing in the world is coming in through our gut. And then the microorganisms that are there are actually helping to manufacture our neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine and the others that are affecting our mood and how we feel. So if we don't have the microorganisms there that are there to help us to be able to have those neurotransmitters made, we're going to be totally have our mental health affected by this. This is also going to be affect the amount of sleep that we're getting each night, because if you have some issues going on with your gut, it's going to wake you up in the night and you're not going to sleep well. Also, stress that you have in your life can affect your gut health, because the stress can interact with your gut and your genetics, how your genetics are. So we believe that, we're seeing the cutting edge of science when we are talking about nutrigenomics, and nutrigenomics is our nutrition to be able to activate our genes. And we see this with about 80% of our gene expression is through what we do with our lifestyle. And a big part of that is what you decide to eat and what you decide to signal your gut with and how you treat your gut. And so this is a big part of the picture of our overall health. And so it's really the center of our health. And what we have in this product is a full spectrum care of our microbiome. It's the whole deal. This is something that people are buying 8, 9, 10 different products in order to do this, in very expensive form. And we're able to do it relatively inexpensively. When I was looking through Love Biome's distributors feeds, it was a lady that on there that ended up pricing out what it would cost to simulate this if she was just trying to get all of the fruit, all of the botanicals, all of the probiotics, all the prebiotics, all the postbiotics, and she came up with that she was going to be spending $800 to $900 a month to be able to do what this can do. That is incredible. And so what we have is our daily drink mix formulas. There's 2 of them. I'm having them together. Some of you might want to have them apart, but I like them together. Within those, there are 10 carefully crafted botanical blends. And within those 2 drink mix formulas, there's a total of 15 targeted probiotics. And I'll be going over some of these. This is an amazing amount because most probiotics I've seen before, they'll have 5, 6, maybe 7 or 8 if it's a lot, but to have 15, and some of them are very unusual, to be able to diversify your gut microbiome, to be able to really get some that are not readily available and that will really have some impact. Some of these are very cutting edge, that they've been identified at the science level of having things to do with being able to combat colitis or other things. So like people that have Crohn's disease and colitis, they don't have these microbes present. And so to be able to say we have a probiotic that has these microbes present is very important. And these are all microbe friendly ingredients where we are taking care of the microbes within us. So honestly, guys, I was teaching my students today because we were comparing prokaryotes and eukaryotes, and the prokaryotes are the bacteria. They're very small compared to our cells. They're really only about the size of our mitochondria. And so they're very small compared to the cell, but there's many more of them than there are of us on the inside, just the numbers. So there's more of them than there are of us, but we have to live together. And we have to make their environment good, because if their environment's not good and we start to get an imbalance in the gut microbiome, there's things like Candida albicans or other yeasts that can grow that will mess us up. There's other microbes that can grow and become too prolific. So, I mean, if we're not eating right and we're not making the environment right in our gut, there is going to be an imbalance. But the good news is that within 3 days, you can balance your gut microbiome. It does not take that long. And a lot of the people that came back from the convention, and they were already on this a week, during one of the first talks I ever did with this, they were all like saying, yes, I see a difference. I see a big difference, and it was, in their bowel habits, in how they were feeling, how they were sleeping, how they were thinking. So this is really something a lot of people, I think, are going to be taking and going, wow, this is a big difference. Okay, so with this system, we are going to be feeding, balancing, and diversifying our gut microbiomes every single day. So this needs to be like the toothbrushing that you guys were talking about earlier before we got started on the call. This is an everyday thing. And ideally, it should be in the morning, because I've been listening to the developers of this product. I was able to find a call record when they were first coming out with this, and they developed this to be the first thing in the morning. So that's ideal. If you can't get it until noon or in the evening, take it then. If you forgot, take it later, but try to make it every single day. So the reason it would be very good in the morning is because it's kind of setting your gut health up for success for the rest of the day. And I do believe it's going to decrease our food cravings, because a lot of times microorganisms are the ones that are telling you need that sugar donut or whatever it is. Sugar. Isn't that amazing? I mean, they are so, I don't know, not smart, because they're just microorganisms, but they know what they need and they know how to send signals through us. And so if they're used to getting a lot of sugar, they're going to be crying out for some sugar. And so it's after you starve them for about a week or two before you get a reduction in sugar cravings. But with this, they're going to be getting exactly what they need from all the fruits and vegetables, that you're not going to be having the sugar cravings so much. That's going to be amazing. Okay, so SAD. SAD is our standard American diet. Americans, honestly, after going to Italy, Americans are eating pretty bad. Like, even the people that think they're eating healthy are not eating as healthy as I went to Italy, and I could not believe the quality of food that they had there. We need to really get this under control in the United States. But for now, we have a very sad diet. It's the standard American diet, and it really disrupts our healthy gut microbiomes. I mean, even in Italy, I was noticing differences in my gut health and on my sleep quality. I mean, we just, you know, so I think that this may be our answer until we can get this food situation under control. This is worth the investment because we have such poor food in the United States. And so what we want is a continuous and compound effects with daily care so that we're going to see better and better results over time. Because as we are taking this longer, we're exposing our gut, different regions of our gut to these different microbiomes so that they can colonize the way that they need to. Because that will take a little bit of time. Even though I said after 3 days, you know, you're going to get some balance, you are going to get some balance, and a lot of the bad things are not going to be able to be there anymore. But over a longer period of time, you're going to get more and more diversity, more and more balance within your gut. And you're going to increase your microbiome profile. It'll become stronger, and you get that beneficial diversity throughout the length of your intestinal system. So the PhytoPower 1, it's containing essential whole foods, beneficial targeted probiotics, and powerful digestive enzymes to feed and diversify the gut microbiome, which is your body's center of health. I mean, we know this. When I was studying this 30 years ago, there, you know, the microbiologists, we were all like going, we know it's really, really important. And we're telling everybody, we think it's important. Now everybody believes us. And so you are not going to have trouble being able to sell this to people and get people to try this. This is amazing. And so what it has in this step one, the first one is we have these essential whole food blends. And so we have the green blend, which is targeting immunity and anti-aging. And we have some wonderful things. I mean, I can remember when barley grass was a big deal a long time ago. But to that, they've added this green apple, kale, spinach, broccoli, chlorella, watercress, kelp, asparagus, leeks, and garlics. I mean, I honestly haven't even eaten all of these this year, and I love all those things, but I don't get that kind of diversity because I can't find the quality. So here we have the yellow orange blend. This is for energy and vitality. And honestly, a lot of these are good, really important for eye health. And I was thinking about how if you are concerned about your eye health, taking this with your Icy Bright and your Nerf 2, whew, we're really going to see some amazing things with people's eyes. So carrot, papaya, sweet potato, mango, golden berry, sea buckthorn, orange, pumpkin, marigold, yellow bell pepper. I think this is the first time I've ever taken marigolds, so I'm excited. But I know that marigolds are actually pretty good. I've heard about them in teas before. Okay, so red blend is for circulation, targeting our cardiovascular system. It's going to be helping with our total blood health. So the pomegranates, the rose hip. I mean, the rose hips and pomegranates already, I know there is research out there with those about how it's helping with the cardiovascular system. Red beets as well. Prickly pear cactus, I'd like to tell the story about how my pioneer Florida relatives, they had stories of going out into the Florida backwoods and picking prickly pear cactus when food was scarce, and they would just cut it up and it would be one of their vegetables. Of course, they took the stickers off, the little thorns, but it was good. I've heard them talk about it. Tomato, acerola cherry, red bell pepper dulce, and red beet, also very good. A lot of people take a red beet powder. Now you don't have to because you've got it here. Cranberry and raspberry. And then we have our blue purple blend, and these anthocyanins, these phytochemicals are really important antioxidants and also for our mental health. They provide really good precursors for a lot of the production of our neurotransmitters. And so your blueberries, your blackberries, your bilberries, your black currants, your purple coneflowers, which is echinacea, eggplant, great, purple egg cabbage, and ebony carrot. I mean, these are all wonderful things. Imagine the diversity you're getting with all of the phytochemicals, all of these important phytonutrients that your body needs for yourself. But really what we're doing is we're giving this to the bacteria. And the bacteria then are doing an amazing work, but we'll get a little of this too, but it's mainly about the bacteria providing what they need so that we are overall healthy. And so the detox and balance, the Phyto2 Power contains special blends that were specifically designed to help the body cleanse the microbiome of harmful toxins and promote a healthy environment for beneficial bacteria to grow and flourish. So this is in the second powder packet, and you can mix them together. And at that point, the enzymes will be active, but very quickly you'll be drinking this, it'll be going into your stomach and we'll be starting to break down things. The reason they didn't put these two together is because that last packet had some very, very delicate phytonutrients that this particular packet with the bacteria and with the fermentation products and some of the enzymes that are present with this, that would have caused a breakdown. So they would not have had a long shelf life. So that's why they have them separate. So your phytonutrient detox blend, you see some of the same ones in there that you saw in the other ones. And it's not because they just wanted to, I don't know. I mean, from what I heard about why they have some of the same ones in this one as they had in the other one, is they wanted to make sure that they had them in a larger quantity, and they wanted to make sure that these were being presented with the bacteria and with some of the other components of that. So we're getting like some doubling of some of these ingredients at this point, but it's still very, very good. And this is the one where we get the turmeric here at the bottom. And this is why we don't want to combine this with the Protandim Nerve 2, because if you do that, this concentration of turmeric combined with the Protandim Nerve 2 is going to make that concentration way too high, and it's not going to have that 18 times effect that each of those 5 ingredients has on their own. You're going to mess up that ratio. So make sure that you take this 1 and 2 together, but make sure it's an hour apart from your Protandim Nerve 2. Okay, so then your glutathione precursor blend. So glutathione is one of your master antioxidants, and 200 times greater production when we're taking Nerve 2. But in order to have 200 times greater production while you're taking Protandim Nerve 2, you've got to have some components there. You've got to have the building blocks there. And this spinach, moringa leaf, kale, kelp, spirulina, chlorella is going to give you the precursors you need in order to make the most glutathione that you can. So this is excellent. I love to see that there. One of the reasons why this is such a great pairing with our Protandim Nerve 2. The toxin binding and inflammatory reduction blend is raspberry, blackberry currant, and purple carrot. Again, some of these are repeats, but they are really good and really powerful in this particular blend going together. We're getting an extra of that for these purposes. The fermented assistance blend. This is your fermentation products. We're told by many gut health experts to eat fermented foods. And in the sad standard American diet, not many people eat fermented food. A lot of people think they're eating sauerkraut, but it's actually the acetic acid vinegar sauerkraut. And that's not the same thing as an actual bacteria fermented sauerkraut. So make sure if you get your sauerkraut that it's got live and active cultures that are actually fermenting it. Another fermented food would be kimchi. A lot of people don't like it because it's very spicy. Some people don't like sauerkraut because it's very sour. Other fermented food would be yogurt, but you need to have whole yogurt plain, because if you start adding in the sugars and the flavors and the dyes, it's not good for you. You're kind of negating any health benefits with all that garbage in it. So it's for a lot of Americans, it's very difficult to get fermented food. They don't like it. It's very sour. It has a bit different, I mean, whatever, I have it all the time, but a lot of people don't. So if you're having trouble getting fermented foods in your life, here you go. You can have it as a part of your P84. And so inulin is giving a lot of fiber from chicory root. It's a fermented chicory root, and it's giving all of these fermentation products are giving our bacteria what they need. It's kind of like a grazing ground for the bacteria so that they can get started with their eating and started with where they can live and be happy in your gut. So you need these fermented food. Kombucha, a lot of us like to drink kombucha, but I know some people, they think it's terrible. But if you really want, if you want some diversity, you want some things like this, because some of these are fungal fermentations and some of these are bacterial fermentations, and they're going to be giving different products to our gut microbiome. So the probiotic gut barrier integrity blend this is just a few of the bacteria that it has in there, but lactobacillus, these are all kind of, they're really cool because I think the bifidobacterium lactis is the only one that's really, I see more commonly. These other 4 that are here are really rather uncommon. And then we've got a total of 15 that are in these blends that we're getting probiotics for. So it's some really, really amazing bacteria. And this Weizmannia is a bacillus type bacteria that I was reading about on Saturday that is so important for being able to keep the tight junctions in our body, in our gut barrier, and some other cell signaling that's happening between us and our microbiome community. I mean, they're just really important, all of them. And so the more that we have that are different, and we will have a overall better health. And so now what we're going to be talking about is the study that LifeVantage did with people that were taking Protandim Nerf 2 and the P84. And so I don't know that the Love Biome people would have been able to, I'm not sure what their results would have been, but we had great results with the gene expression, I think, because of the combination, this 1-2 punch of the Protandim Nerf 2 with the P84. And we found in the study that P84 is activating 14 key gut peptides. And so these are peptides or proteins, and these proteins regulate, repair, and restore the gut lining. And so we know that this nutrigenomics, we know it can influence gene expression. It can influence the cell metabolism. And this is going to be leading to changes so that we can decrease disease risk and we can increase overall health. And so these are the proteins that have been increased, where we have 55% increase in the master carpenter that's anchoring the cells together, the E-cadherin, and a 41% increase in occludin, another one that's going to be strengthening the tight gut junctions between the cells so that we don't have leaky gut. 58% increase in the peptides that are rebuilding and supporting new tissue. That's epiregulin. A 116% increase in trefoil factor 3, which is managing the gut lining repair. So as you can imagine, with a lot of food passing through your gut lining, there can be things that get torn apart, things that break down, just with different chemicals and things that are mixing as we're digesting our food. And so there has to be a lot of repair going on all the time in order to keep a healthy gut and keep it tight. So here is the one that we see that's a decrease is zonulin, and this is the security chief that's keeping in the good and the bad out. But if we have too much of this protein, that's usually a sign. In fact, this is one of the markers of someone being diagnosed with a colitis or a Crohn's disease. Really high levels of this protein present when people have Crohn's disease. But here we see a decrease of it by 20%. Now, we don't want to see a lot of this decreased because we do need this there, because it's a security chief. It's making sure that it's keeping the good things in and the bad things are staying out. So it's a balancer within our gut. And so here we have a 16% increase in Claudin 1, and this is ensuring that the barriers are watertight, that we're actually keeping water in when we need to with our gut. Because if you end up with a dry bolus going through, that's going to be a very painful digestive situation as well. Okay, so the regulators. So these are the regulators where we see some increases. Some of these are pretty dramatic. This is a 100% increase with vasoactive intestinal peptide. This is helping to calm the overreactive areas of the gut. And so then we see a 1,087% increase in gastrin releasing peptide. This is sending alerts to fire up digestion. So people, this is where we get our money's worth. When you're eating, if you're not digesting all of your food, guess where the money's going? Right into the toilet. And so if we are actually digesting our food, we're getting that satiation because our body's finally getting the food, the food nutrients that we need. It's amazing, 1,800%. And then we have the 50% increase of neurotension. This is acting so that the nutrients are moving through the gut at a regular pace, not too fast, not too slow. And here we have another regulator, the 77% increase in, let's see if I'm going to get this pronunciation right. It's an oxantimodulin. And this is coordinating your nutrient absorption so that, again, it's probably working with this one so that you can increase your total nutrient absorption with all of this food going through. Somatostatin is regulating peptides. So this is the boss of the boss. Here's your manager, and they're up by about 20%. Here we have cholecystokinin, and these are making sure that the fats and the proteins are properly processed. And so this is probably a master communicator that is sending out signals to whether you need to have proteases released to be able to break down your proteins, or lipases, whether you need to break down your lipids. And that's important to have that so that you're actually getting what needs to be digested. So there's a lot of things happening. And then this last one are these two restorer proteins. And this mucin too is probably really, really important to keep us, the gut microbiome healthy, to make it comfortable with our digestion. It's creating a nourishing layer. So mucin means it's creating almost like a mucus layer. And we need that for, sliding things through the gut, keeping the gut stable, kind of will be like an insulator in our gut, like a blanket all through our gut. And then we have this last one that's up by 18% that works alongside glucagon-like protein 1, which we have a product for upregulating that. And I think that this will help the glucagon, our GLP-1 product. I think it's going to help it work even better than it already does because of this, where it's fostering this growth of our microbiomes. And so that if we have that healthy growth, I think that it might even increase our K cells to be able to produce more GLP-1. So that is going to be interesting to see what people get as results from having all this together. So what we're doing is we're playing both offense and defense through breaking through to get these activators going, and they're going to protect your cells by decreasing stress, regulating, repairing, and restoring your gut health, and you're going to get an edge on your wellness. I mean, where you've been stalled out, I think that this might give you that push so that you're getting out of dealing with the autoimmune diseases. You're being able to get the diabetes under control naturally. You're going to be where you're stuck with losing fat in certain areas of your body. This can get you unstuck. I heard a lot of testimonies about that. Cancer, people that are excited about taking this to help them with whatever else they're doing in their life to combat cancer, and osteoporosis. We've heard a number of stories from people on our company that have been taking care of their cells and able to combat these types of cancers. Now, with all of our products, we have to say we cannot cure, treat, mitigate, or promise cures from any of our products. But what we can say is that we have science-backed products about getting our cells in a healthier state. We've got proof. We've got all those peptides being upregulated, and that one specific one coming down with a down regulation is showing an overall balance and health and repair happening from the inside out. And so that we can have all of these things in balance, where we're seeing the neurotransmitter synthesis, our immune system coming back online, where we have our digestion. It's actually digesting the food instead of just letting it just pass through and cause a lot of pain because it's not digesting properly, where we can actually get our vitamins from our food. We don't have to take a bunch of supplements trying to get a vitamins because we're not digesting. And so then getting these fermentation products to be for both ourselves and our microbiome to be able to thrive. So when we get these together, they're coming now in a stack where this will all come together. And right now they have this awesome deal where you're getting this mango scented hand cream at the same time. And it is an awesome, awesome deal. I think they got, so that you get these two and you get a reduced price on your Protandim plus the hand cream. So it is a really great, great thing. And I've really been so excited about this product. I think we're going to see some great things in our own health and in the health of our customers.
Okay. Julie's gonna stop the recording here.